All right, folks, so welcome back to the channel. And what now? We are nearing 2025, and what is the prediction? Well, in my opinion, I don't think anything will change in 2026, maybe not even in 2027, since everything has been tangled up in a direction of catastrophe. I mean, we are not moving forward. In fact, we have been stagnant or we have been feathering down since 2022 peak. And I don't think that we can solve this issue as simple as many are predicting or thinking that somehow magically somebody will fly across the world and help us here in Canada. I don't think that there's really a reason for that unless they see a particular benefit, which is obviously above my pay grade. But I don't know what could change in order for us to actually see a prosperous economy in a current Canadian situation. So we all know that the condo market in Toronto, GTA, British Columbia, and across Canada is extremely shaky. We have seen people lose, their down payments, losing units. Banks are taking over. Developers are going belly up, and the question is, how did we get to this particular level? So one puzzle piece to the entire big puzzle or an image is the pandemic period where people were grabbing free money. And that boom that was not realistic, everyone saw as an opportunity to collect more, spend more, experience more, gather more, get ahead of the curve. And the problem that I'm personally having is how come they did not see it? I mean, like the perception at that time, and even to some people, it's still today, is that unstoppable hockey stick graph moving up. It's like I don't understand. Maybe somebody can comment or maybe explain it to me. But I think we're coming into a particular period and evolution, whether it's good or bad, in our humanity, where we had many of these before. Industrial revolution, we had all sorts of this different. Web was another one. Now we have the AI, right, that many are denying it at the moment and saying, hey, look, nothing can replace me. But I think this time we're dealing with something else. And I would like to tie it all into one thing, because real estate became not only real estate, right? Like so many other things got involved with real estate, right? Like, first mortgage and second mortgages and private lending. And then you have the creative lending, and you have all sorts of different elements that created that element of lending. And it's just nuts, right? And then we will, in 2026 we will have the highest amount renew their mortgage. Think about that for a second. In 2025 we got affected with that, plus tariffs, plus AI is creeping on slowly. Now in 2026 everything once again will be amplified. On top of that, we have the migration that slowed down. And even the migration that we had in record numbers, I don't think solved our problems. Because since 2022, we see stagnation. We see prices feather down. We see landlords and owners holding on by a thread, trying to kind of sleep through this period and then wake up to a better tomorrow, which, to be honest with you, I don't even know when that period is going to come. Nobody knows. I mean, we can throw some prediction. I don't think anything significant will happen till 2020, maybe 8, 9. maybe we see 2030 with some different platforms maybe, and maybe some different plan or strategy that we see bits and pieces of recovery, because so many other things have to come into play in order for us to play in the new field. So I don't know how that will look. However, I believe that the danger zone that we went through, and that mindset got unlocked. And I remember, and I would like to touch on that, because a lot of people seem to be forgetting that in that period of time, many Canadians went into a lot of debt because they were buying the stuff that they believe they will never ever be able to buy, like short supply, nothing is moving, I have to buy that Rolex, that Breitling, that Patek Philippe, like it's one of a kind, one on my shelf, all the stores are empty, right? Like they're like even putting deposits on watches that you waited for 24 months, right? So it's just incredible. And the amount, like even cars, like do you guys remember people were overpaying by huge margins just to be able to secure, and then once the delivery got shipped for their vehicle, they still had to negotiate at that time for like the bank interest rates and different terms, and even though they have signed a contract because they had people lined up. But those are all situations that remain in memory, plus they remain on your bank account as negative debt ratios, problems, weight around your neck that you still have to deal with that. We can get into student loans, and then we get into bigger investments, right? Like some people took exotic vacations that they wanted to experience and they would never experience, but these ticket items cost thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So I think everything now is coming up for collection and reevaluation, let me call it that, right? So everything that has been spent and overspent, you cannot sell it at that price today. The condo, the watch, the car, the only thing that you're keeping is the debt ratio, right? And there's definitely that assumption and that illusion that that real estate item, that ticket item of real estate has to, like it doesn't have another choice but to recover. And that's not true. Is it true on a long run? Absolutely. But how long is it going to take? It might take a decade. It might take 2 decades. I mean, we have been underwater for 4 years already. Time flies by. We don't realize. We're heading into 2026 very soon. These winter months of 2025 and 2026 will be very slow and very, very draggy, right? Then we have the mortgage, renewals, the highest in ever. Then we will have all the other condominiums that are closing for occupancy, thousands and thousands of units that cannot appraise, not even one new pre-con unit appraised for its value. So all of that is going to be piled up on that particular individual, and everybody's case is different, right? For some people, there's absolutely no problems, right? Maybe they're that particular gen, whatever it is, and in that particular generation, they saw those golden decades or decade or two, and maybe they paid off. Maybe the income ratio versus the spending and the earning like made sense, and we know that, right? Today doesn't make sense. Like I've seen businesses exit, right? How many realtors exited? Which in a way, yes, they were not, I'm not going to say qualified, but they were in it for wrong reasons. It was money, it was a quick turn, they didn't care. They also helped with all this chaos that was going on. Now everything is surfacing and consequences will be there. Like if monkey business was done, eventually it will be exposed, like all across Canada, from British Columbia all the way to Halifax. I mean, things are rising now. Sometimes it takes a couple of years to hit the right nail on the right head, but it will be exposed. So it wouldn't surprise me then that in the next upcoming years that we see situations where the banks say, no, we want CRA documents. We want your login. We want to see what is the real number. Don't send us let us talk. So it wouldn't surprise me if they had that hotline for the banks somewhere down in CRA that you willingly have to share, which you do anyways in order to get qualified. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So I think everything will be kind of bottlenecked, and that particular aspect will translate directly how prices behave. Because if people are walking in fear and uncertainty to buy, trade, own, dream, make, well, guess what? The market will stop, and it stopped. There's a proof, right? So now we get into other sectors. Like, people say, hey, look, Toronto is too big, it can fail. Well, Detroit was big and it failed, right? So, I mean, it's questionable, like what can sustain itself and what cannot. So hopefully you got something out of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.